When the news first spread that Remy Ma and Papoose were going their separate ways, many people treated it like any other celebrity breakup. Famous couples separate all the time, and the public usually reacts for a few days before shifting attention to the next trending story. First, this situation seemed no different. Headlines appeared, blogs started discussing the rumors, and social media users began sharing opinions. However, as more information slowly surfaced, people started to realize that this was not just a simple breakup. There was a long history behind the relationship, and understanding that history made the situation much more complex than it appeared at the beginning. For many years, Remy Ma and Papoose were seen as a powerful example of loyalty and commitment. Their love story was widely discussed, especially because of the period when Remy was incarcerated and Papoose publicly remained by her side. That chapter of their lives became a major part of how fans viewed them. Interviews often highlighted his dedication and her appreciation for his support. Over time, the public began to treat their relationship almost like a symbol, proof that true loyalty still existed in the entertainment industry. Because of this, many people admired them not only as artists but also as a couple who seemed to represent strength and patience. This public image became very important. Fans, media outlets, and even promotional campaigns often referenced their love story. When Remy returned home after serving her sentence, the reunion between the two was presented as an emotional moment that confirmed everything people believed about them. To many observers, their relationship looked unbreakable. They appeared together at events, supported each other's careers, and spoke positively about their partnership in interviews. The picture presented to the public was one of unity, resilience, and long-term commitment. However, as time passed, it became clear that what the public saw was only part of the story. Like many long-term relationships, theirs likely included disagreements, personal struggles, and challenges that were never discussed openly. Several later reports suggested that there were financial pressures, communication issues, and trust concerns that existed behind the scenes. None of these issues were widely known at the time, partly because both individuals chose to protect the image of their marriage. Maintaining a strong public front may have felt necessary, especially since so many people viewed their relationship as inspirational. To understand why their story carried so much emotional weight, it helps to look at the early years of their careers. Remy Ma rose to fame as a bold rapper from the Bronx, known for her strong personality and confident delivery. She stood out because she spoke her mind and projected a fearless presence. Papoose, meanwhile, built his reputation as a highly skilled lyricist respected for his discipline and dedication to the craft. Together, they appeared to balance each other. Many fans felt that their different personalities complemented one another, which made their partnership seem even stronger. The loyalty narrative became especially powerful during the years when Remy was away. Papoose often spoke about his commitment to their relationship, and those statements were widely shared. For fans, his loyalty became legendary. The story of a man standing by his partner through difficult times resonated deeply with audiences. By the time Remy returned home, the foundation of their public image had already been built. From that point forward, every public appearance reinforced the idea that their bond had survived challenges that might have broken other couples. After her release, both artists focused on rebuilding their careers and expanding their opportunities. They appeared on television, performed music, and participated in interviews that highlighted their success as a couple. To the public, everything looked stable. But as years passed, subtle rumors began circulating that the relationship was facing strain. At first, these rumors were dismissed as gossip because people had grown so accustomed to viewing them as solid partners. Still, the conversations gradually became more frequent, and some observers started paying closer attention to small signs that things might not be as perfect as they seemed. Eventually, discussions about possible outside relationships began appearing online. Some reports suggested that emotional connections involving other individuals may have started long before the public realized anything was wrong. Whether every rumor was accurate or not, the existence of these discussions changed how people interpreted later events. Instead of seeing the separation as sudden, many began to suspect that the relationship had been experiencing difficulties for years. This shift in perspective made the story more complicated, because it suggested that the final breakup was not a single moment, but the result of many issues building over time. Another factor that influenced public reaction was the emotional investment fans had in the couple. Because their relationship had been promoted for so long as a symbol of loyalty, any sign of trouble felt dramatic. People often feel disappointed when a couple they admire separates, but in this case the reaction was even stronger. Some fans felt that the breakup challenged the idea they had believed in for years. Others tried to defend one side or the other, while many observers attempted to piece together the timeline using whatever information they could find online. As more names became connected to the situation, the conversation expanded. Individuals such as Claressa Shields and Easy the Block Captain were mentioned in discussions, adding new layers to the story. Each new rumor, interview, or social media post sparked additional debates. Social media played a major role in amplifying the situation. Posts spread quickly, reaction videos appeared, and comment sections filled with opinions. In many cases, people formed conclusions before all the details were confirmed, which made the public conversation even more complicated. One of the biggest challenges in understanding the situation was the timeline. Questions began to arise about when certain conversations started, when emotional boundaries may have shifted, and whether the public narrative matched the actual order of events. When timelines are unclear, people often fill in the gaps with assumptions, and those assumptions can quickly turn into widely accepted stories. Over time, debates about who did what first became less certain because different claims pointed to different starting points. Financial discussions also became part of the conversation. Some statements suggested that both partners contributed in different ways to their household and business ventures. These conversations added another dimension to the story, moving it beyond a simple relationship dispute and turning it into a broader discussion about responsibilities, partnership roles, and expectations within long-term marriages. For many observers, this highlighted how complex relationships can be, especially when both individuals have public careers and multiple business commitments. As the situation became more public, both sides shared statements, sometimes directly and sometimes through interviews or social media posts. Fans analyzed every message carefully, searching for clues that might explain what had happened behind closed doors. This constant scrutiny increased the pressure on everyone involved, because even small comments were interpreted as major signals. Over time, the focus shifted from the breakup itself to a larger conversation about how celebrity images are created and maintained. One of the most important lessons from this situation is how powerful public branding can be. When a couple is presented as a symbol of loyalty for many years, people may struggle to accept information that contradicts that image. Even when new details emerge, some fans hold on to the original narrative because it feels familiar. This shows how difficult it can be for public figures to change the way they are perceived once a strong story has been built around them. Another lesson is that relationships are rarely as simple as they appear from the outside. Interviews, red carpet photos, and social media posts show only selected moments. The private conversations, disagreements, and emotional challenges that shape a relationship usually remain hidden. By the time a separation becomes public, the real issues may have existed for years. Observers who only see the final announcement may not realize how long the situation has been developing. The role of social media also cannot be ignored. In earlier decades, celebrity breakups were discussed mainly through magazines or television interviews. Today, every post, reaction, or rumor can spread instantly to millions of people. This speed allows speculation to grow quickly, sometimes faster than verified information. As a result, public conversations often become chaotic, with multiple versions of the story circulating at the same time. Throughout the discussions, one consistent theme has been the importance of examining patterns rather than focusing on single events. Long-term relationships change gradually. They are shaped by daily decisions, communication habits, and shared experiences over many years. When people focus only on the final moment, the breakup, they may overlook the earlier signs that indicated deeper issues. Understanding the full history often provides a clearer picture than analyzing one dramatic event. Another theme is the difference between image and reality. Public figures often present polished versions of their lives because they want to protect their privacy and maintain their reputation. This is understandable, but it can also create unrealistic expectations. When the public later learns that the reality was more complicated, the contrast can feel shocking, even though it reflects a normal human experience. Most relationships, whether public or private, include both positive moments and difficult periods. As time continues to pass, the individuals involved will likely focus more on their personal growth, careers, and new opportunities. Public attention will eventually shift to other topics, as it always does. Still, the story leaves behind important reminders about how fame, branding, and personal relationships intersect. It shows that even partnerships celebrated for years can face challenges, and that understanding those challenges requires patience and context. From a broader perspective, the situation highlights how quickly public opinion can change. At one point, the couple was widely praised as an example of lasting love. Later, the same relationship became the subject of criticism and debate. This shift demonstrates how strongly public perception depends on the information people receive, and how easily narratives can change when new details appear. It also shows how emotionally invested audiences can become in celebrity stories, sometimes treating them as reflections of larger ideas about loyalty, resilience, or success. In the end, what began as a headline about a separation evolved into a larger conversation about expectations, public image, and the complexity of long-term relationships. The story reminds people that celebrity relationships are still human relationships at their core. Behind the headlines are individuals dealing with real emotions, responsibilities, and life transitions. Understanding that reality can help audiences approach similar stories with more patience and less immediate judgment. Perhaps the most important takeaway is simple. Appearances rarely tell the full story. Relationships are built through everyday choices, communication, and shared experiences, not just through public displays of affection or carefully managed interviews. When people look back at situations like this, they often realize that the signs of change were present long before the final announcement. Recognizing that complexity allows for a more balanced understanding, one that acknowledges both the public narrative and the private realities that often remain unseen.